Hello, everyone. I'm Elaine Eightbytes.
And I'm David Moulton.
And you're listening to the Aficionerdo podcast. Welcome.
Welcome.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it feels just like forever.
It's been a little bit, but you know what? In podcast land, it's pretty much as soon as you can download the next one.
Yeah.
Hello, so future viewers.
Yeah, if you're listening to this for the first time, or listening through the episodes for the first time, it's like nothing.
It's like nothing at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that we need to get to the hard-pressing issues because we never look them over.
Are we going to get serious?
Yeah, we need to get serious here. Elaine, have you been nerding out lately?
Oh, yes.
What?
I know. I have been nerding out. I can't help myself. It happens.
I'm incredibly surprised.
Hello, everybody. My name's Elaine Eightbytes, and I am a nerd. Hello. This is when everybody else says, "Hello, Elaine," and I'm hi.
Hello, Elaine.
or maybe I didn't even say that right. I should be saying I've been normal free all my life.
Normal free.
Normal free.
I like that.
So let's see. What have I been doing? Thanks to you. Pardon me. Thanks to you, I've watched all of Downton Abbey season 1.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have.
And have you enjoyed it?
Yes, and now I'm working on season 2. Luckily enough, we do have an Amazon Prime account, and so we're able to watch streaming through Amazon Prime as well. And so season 2 and season 3 are both on Amazon, as opposed to Netflix. So if anybody who wants to know if there's more Downton Abbey to watch, you can. You just have to switch providers.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you that I loved season 3. Season 2 I enjoyed, but not as much as season 1.
I'm not enjoying season 2 as much.
Yeah.
I don't know why I want to say this, but the war is getting in the way. And
that's what I thought.
Really? Okay, because it's like, I know that it happened, and I know that, I mean, isn't that just a very selfish thing to say, war is getting in the way? Of course it gets in the way. That's the whole, war is going to be a big deal. It's going to be everything. I feel like I liked the storytelling and the flow of season 1 so far much better than season 2.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like everything takes place at the house and like in that area, and then in season 2 you've got like some stuff happening over in the war, and I don't know, it just kind of takes you out of the feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they kind of get back to it though. So
that's good, because I want my season 1 back. I might actually just watch all of season 1 again. It was delicious. Let's see. And I've also, I play board games with my friends often. It's something that I reach to go do. And the board games that I've encountered lately is one called the Red Dragon Inn, which is a board game based off of D&D, but it boils it down to the it's not a D&D game. Your party of 4, which are your stereotype D&D characters. So you have a healer, you have a fighter, you have a thief, and you have a mage. And they have just gone out adventuring, and they have just come back, and they have the spoils of their adventure, and they are sitting at the Red Dragon Inn, which, if you understand what that means, the Red Dragon Inn is like the most generic inn name in all D&D. Because, I don't know if you ever were on AOL, but AOL had a chat room that was even called the Red Dragon Inn back in the day. Oh, yeah. Yes. And this is where the geeks would go to roleplay and chat online, was the Red Dragon Inn. Anyway, so when I play the Red Dragon Inn, I'm thinking of, almost 20 years ago, the Red Dragon Inn on AOL.
Wow.
And so, but the premise of the game is that you're all sitting down and you have your cards, and there's a card stack in the middle of drinks, different types of drinks and different types of effect, and you have a small scoreboard in front of you that indicates how drunk you are and how hurt you are, how many physical points of damage that you take. So the goal of the game is to be the last one. You're supposed to drink your friends under the table, but it's a card game.
Wow.
And it involves there's gold involved. There's these game rounds of gambling that have nothing to do with gambling as the actual game, but you have gambling cards that tell you how good you are at gambling. I know it sounds complex, but in truth, when you start to play, it is so simple and is so funny, and it's a kind of stab your friends in the back sort of game. So,
Wow.
but you're frenemies through the whole game. You're like, here, buddy, let me buy you another drink, and you're like, no, I'm I'm feeling pretty good right now. And they're like, no, you really need another drink. And you're like, no, I don't. I'm gonna punch you in the nose. And then like somebody else is like, well, that's happening. I'm stealing your coins over here from my gold pile. So there's three ways to lose. You can either pass out, you can get too drunk, you can be knocked out from losing hit points, or you can pass out drunk, or you could be kicked out of the inn for not having enough gold to pay for more money or more drinks.
Really?
So,
I can't help but wonder how many people have turned that into a real drinking game while playing it.
that would be amazing, but also extremely dangerous. Whew, that would be, hmm.
Yeah.
Huh, okay, I'll put my mind to that one. And then I encountered Say Anything, which you can buy it's mainstream now. So you can go into almost any, um, your Walmarts, your Targets, your Toys R Us. Say Anything is a really good game. It's a lot like Apples to Apples, but instead of Apples to Apples, you fill in your own answer.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit like you also wager on, you have some chips and you can pick more than one answer.
They played that on tabletop, right?
Yeah, they did. They did play
Yeah.
Say Anything on, and it's yes, that has graced the table of Wheel Wheaton. Um, and there's one that I recently got to play that I was hoping to encounter, which was Cards Against Humanity, which is the evil
Ah,
version of Apples to Apples.
is it as fun as it looks?
It is. It is. I enjoyed it for the twist. It is. Yes, I will say yes. It's
Okay. Would
also
you
a little bit different, but
would you play it again though?
with my friends, I would. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I keep
That
like
is
looking
not
at
one
it.
you want to pull out with people that you don't know. That
Yeah.
is no, unless you're extremely brave.
Yeah.
Like,
I keep looking at it and thinking, will my friends play this game with me?
no, it is a game that on purpose puts offensive topics down on the card, and
Right.
the answers will be offensive. A very adult humor offensive game, which that's up my alley. But and the alley of my friends, we just had a great time with it. But it is a R-rated game. So
Well, along the lines of games, I forget. Do you have Munchkin?
I do have Munchkin. I have up to the third expansion now.
Okay. Did you see that Ron picked it up?
I did see that Ron picked it up, and we need to fix that. I think we need to play some Munchkin.
Yeah, we need to do a Skype. Maybe we can record it and share it with the whole world or
I,
something.
I would like to do that. I guess we would just draw from our individual decks. Is that the idea that we would?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. We'd have to figure out what's fair if like you and I would have to take the expansions out to kind of be on the same level as Ron, or
Like,
whether or not that mattered.
well, the trouble is that separating them might be difficult because they are kind
Uh,
of all similar, and I don't know which cards came from which expansion.
at the bottom, the expansions have little symbols.
Oh, great! Then I can do
So
it. Wonderful.
yeah.
Let's see. I also had, as you know, I'm really excited about this game called The Last of Us. It's being pushed up by Naughty Dog, same people who did Jack and Daxter and the Uncharted series. And The Last of Us is this post-apocalyptic, beautiful zombie game that's going to come out for the PS3. It was supposed to come out this month. It is not in my hands, David.
No,
It is not in my
why?
hands because it's not coming out until June now. I'm.
How dare they?
I know. I.
Do did you call them? I
I'm.
mean, do they know who you are?
Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog. No, I guess this is the lament that you're supposed to take. Like, I don't have my game. I guess they're making it better. I guess it's
Yeah.
okay. They're making it better. Like you're supposed to like try to give it to me. I've given them my money. I want my game. Um, let's see. And let's see. I'm gonna try to think of all these things. I have been playing Portal 2.
When did you get Portal 2
I
and why didn't you tell me?
Oh, David. David, I've had it down on my PS3. I don't have it on Steam.
Oh,
But don't worry. Hint, hint, viewers. Hint, hint. We have plans for Portal 2. But you have a certain playthrough that you're going to finish first. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay, yeah. I've recorded a lot. For those who don't know, I have been releasing uh, a playthrough of First Portal on our channel, but I have a lot more recorded than what I've released, and I just kind of,
It'll be all right.
yeah, I
It'll be
just
okay.
need to put it out.
And then speaking of YouTube,
uh,
YouTube, YouTube, listen, come here, YouTube. Let us sit down and have a moment between you and I. Stop messing with my subscription box. Stop it. Stop it. I'm getting angry, YouTube. So I don't know if everybody else has experienced the same thing, but recently my account has experienced an update, push down, whatever you call it, when all of a sudden the functions of YouTube completely changes, the format changes. And in the past, as it's been updated, I have agreed that a lot of the updates have been good for YouTube. I understand that they need to update their website in order to stay relevant, especially as YouTube becomes more of a professional site as opposed to an amateur site. And
right.
so, but what YouTube is doing, I suppose for revenue reasons, in fact, what other reason would there be? This has to be advertisement motivated. It has to be money related, earnings, advertisement, like everything like that like button, that those comment buttons, everything that makes it relevant, what we put in our tags, it's all becoming so much more important because now when I click on my subscription box, it's instantly filtered and it's displayed in a way that I cannot control anymore. So now, in order to be certain that I am viewing all the content of everyone, I literally I have to organize my subscription list, which is long and has a lot of people in it, alphabetically. And I have to click
Uh,
on their individual names in order to see if they've updated.
uh,
As opposed to the grid format, which was there forever, you could still get to it. You had to know how to get to it. But now they've finally taken that away. If you try to get to it, it will just take you to a single list, which is sorted and filtered by relevance
yeah,
or sharing. So if I have it on uploads only, they say that they're showing me all the uploads, but it doesn't feel that way. And if I put it on like relevance or content, it will show me what, I don't know, Wheezy Waiter watched and what he commented on. And it's like, I don't care what Craig is watching on YouTube. I care about his content. I don't care about what he watches, you know?
yeah,
And so you can go back in and you can check mark this stuff, but the frustration is YouTube should have never gotten rid of a simple chart of uploaded videos only. That's it. Your list, and in the order that the videos were published. It doesn't take a lot to do that, and that's how I consumed my YouTube information on a daily basis for years. And they've taken it away from me, and I am just YouTube. I don't need that much help. Like so it's like now YouTube is trying to filter what I see and what I watch. Of course it is. But it's done so in a way that I find generally intrusive and not helpful to me as a consumer.
yeah. It really, really, really annoys me. Especially they're like, because you liked this, you should look at this, and
Hmm.
especially when it shows that I've already viewed the video that they're recommending to me. It's like, why would the algorithm even suggest that I look at this? It knows that I watched it.
Tags. I've noticed that tags are far more important now. I
Yeah.
mean, they were important before, but now they're even more important. So I guess that if you're a provider, if you're a content provider, it only behooves you more to put more tags, miscellaneous tags that have nothing to do with your video content
Yeah.
into your tags, because
Yeah.
that will get your video places. So, rant, 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 rant. Now, one cool thing is that if you look for, like, if you were to search for 8-Bit Dame on YouTube, I usually tag everything I do with my name. So it doesn't matter if it comes out on Aficionerdo or if it goes over to my channel, it's all there. So I've noticed that works for me, but maybe that's because my name as a tag is unique enough that it's pulling most of the things up.
Right.
So,
Right.
uh, what about you? I have gone on my rant.
It was a good rant. You know, if people think that I didn't have enough to add, it's because I completely agreed. It was like, why repeat ourselves? So, but yeah.
Listen up, YouTube. You're on warning. Strike two, probably.
Yeah.
Watch it. I see Twitch TV over there. I see I see these other providers. They're coming up fast. Better.
Uh-oh.
I see the Google Plus Hangouts. Oh, I guess that's also YouTube. Oh, YouTube, you and Google. Oh,
How
I
dare
forgot.
you?
Ugh.
Well, I have been nerding out lately,
Mhm.
and it's been a little bit different than normal because some of the stuff that happened when we were away is I was moving. So
Mhm.
I was bringing in my nerdiness in different ways, mostly TV shows and reading rather than gaming or activities. So I've been watching Fraiser, a
Mm.
lot of Frasier. And now, okay, so people really like this show called Big Bang Theory.
Mhm.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Yes.
And they're always telling me how I should like it because it's so me and this and that, and I don't relate.
Oh, now I know why you don't like it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I don't relate, and I'm just like, that's not me. I mean, yeah, it is, but it's not. It just makes me dislike it more. But
Yes.
when I watch Frasier, I'm like, oh, that's me.
That kind of makes me want to watch Frasier again.
Yeah.
What years is Frasier? Circa 90s?
Oh yeah. Let me look that up real quick while we're talking. But I don't even know how many seasons there are. I'm on season 3, and I'm loving it.
At
I'm
least
surprised.
7.
At least 7.
I think at least 7 seasons of Frasier.
Uh, we'll find out here in a second.
Does he
Somebody was
ever
telling
get the
me,
girl? Does he ever get Daphne?
yeah, they get married.
Okay, good.
So it
Cause
started in 1993
okay.
till 2004. Whoa.
Wow.
I didn't realize it went that long. It had 11 seasons.
Wow, you're going to be watching Frasier forever.
And ever and ever and ever.
You have to tell me what the best season is then.
I
Maybe I'll
will.
watch it.
I will. I mean, I really wonder how long it stays good. I know it won a lot of awards towards its end,
Mhm.
but I don't know. And I know that Niles and Daphne get married, and that I think it might be like the end thing or something, but Roz and Frasier get together.
All right.
So,
Yes.
so anyway, I've been watching that, and I've been really enjoying it because I relate, and I don't know what that says about me. I'm a stuck-up snob, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, I've also started watching American Horror Story with some friends.
Et tu,
Uh,
Brute?
yeah.
Do you like it?
Surprisingly, I'm liking it. It's not really my normal cup of tea, but
Is this the first season?
yeah.
Mm.
Sean and Carter have a podcast, or the Five Things podcast, whatever they're calling it now.
It's the Five Things podcast.
Five Things podcast. They watched through the series forever ago, and I really enjoyed listening to them like retell it
Yeah,
because
I love American Horror Story via Sean and Carter. That's the best way to consume most most things
yeah,
that nature. It's like I could just listen to them talk about it. I don't need to watch this stuff. It's great.
those guys are really good at retelling stories,
Yes, they
and
are.
yeah, and so my interest was piqued, and we were looking for something to watch. And I'll admit there have been a couple times where I've been like, "Ooh," but because I kind of know what's happening and what's going to happen, it's not as scary to me or suspenseful. I think the show's more suspenseful than anything else. So I am enjoying it. I've watched 3 or 4 episodes at this point.
Okay.
So I started rereading the Dune series with a friend of mine. We're going to read through it together. So that
Fear
should
is
take
the
us like
mind killer.
yes, yes, that's true. Fear is the mind killer. I will not fear. But we're gonna read through them chronologically, so we should be done
Alrighty.
in about like 4 years.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're not stopping at a number because I have been told that going past the third Dune book is a waste of your time.
First off, the fourth Dune book, God Emperor of Dune, is my absolute favorite.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, booyah. I am a huge Dune fan. Like, if anything, that I'm nerdy about, it's Dune is the most. And people would be like, "Oh, you do not Star Trek or Spider-Man?" I was like, "Those are my things in my childhood." But when I became an adult or young adult, late teens, Dune took over for many years.
So I have the first Dune book. I have that, notch on my belt.
Okay.
And so you're saying that I should continue to you're pro continue to consume Dune as a series.
Yes. Yes. Now, the original series, which is what is it? One, two, three, 6 books. The original 6 books.
Mm-hmm.
The last two I enjoyed, uh, but I can see how some people might not because they kind of take things a little bit further. The fourth book was my favorite, and it was really inspiring to me. Just some of the stuff that it's mostly dialogue, not a lot happens, but I really enjoyed it. Um, and then a lot of people don't like the stuff written by his son and Kevin J. Anderson.
So when does that start?
Um, well, it's really weird. So like they found some stuff that was the last book, which Frank Herbert wasn't able to write,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and they were going to finish the series because the last book was Chapter House. Yeah, Chapter House Dune ends on a cliffhanger, and he died. So they were going to they found this like deposit box with this stuff, and they were going to finish it. And they realized they were like, we don't know how to finish this story without a bunch of content and it would be too crazy to try and fit it on one book, and it would just be bad. So they were like, well, we have to figure out a way to release this information properly that it doesn't seem just like an encyclopedia. So what they did is then they went back and they wrote 3 prequel books to the original series that has all the main characters when they were younger. Those are the Chapter House books,
Mm-hmm.
and then they went even further back and wrote the history of the universe, and that's like the Butlerian Jihad and those 3 books. So there's 6 prequel books, and then the original series, and then they went to write the last book, and they were like, "There's too much content here," so they broke the last book into 2 books, and they finished the series. And,
So
and it ends.
in total, how many books?
Well, now they're writing books that fit in between other books.
No, stop.
So right now there's 1, 2, 3, 6, 12, 16. I'm going to say 16 and a half.
Ah,
Because there's a book called Road to Dune, written by Frank Herbert. That's a bunch of short stories.
so you're reading them in release order or story order?
We're reading them in story order because,
Wow.
yeah.
What are you going to do if somebody comes back and inserts a book between a book set you've already covered? You're going to stop and go back and read that
Well,
book?
we're well. Luckily, only 2 people. Only the 2 people are allowed to write Dune books, so they come out very slowly.
Okay.
But there is a series that we're skipping over. They started another trilogy that takes place in the Butlerian Jihad series, those 3 books. So there's another trilogy that fits in there, and they've only written one of those books, so we've decided to skip that completely.
I have
And
to
then,
say, now I know why people told me to not worry about past the third book of the original Dune series because this sounds really complicated.
it's so good. The fourth
Okay.
book is so amazing.
All
But
right.
anyway,
I
moving
believe you.
on from my love of Dune, we could do a whole episode on Dune, and I would just like sit here and squee for
I know
2 hours.
one person who listens to us who wants us to do that. And would
Really,
yes, and would just would love us to do that.
we
Yes.
should read the books, Elaine.
Oh, should we?
If you can handle it. And we should read them in chronological since I'm doing it anyway.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. I did play a little bit of Portal, which I uploaded some of the playthroughs on. I said
Hmm.
I had some more, and I just started playing Don't Starve, and that's pretty good. I'm actually enjoying. It's harder than I expected. I played it last night for the first time, and I died, and I was like, oh,
I have a friend who just gifted that game to me on Steam.
What?
I know. Isn't that amazing?
It's so crazy. Maybe you should try it out. I
I
don't know.
yes, David did just gift that game to me on Steam. Thank you again. And
Yeah.
maybe I will try that. I will give it a go. I'll give it a go. In fact,
And
when I give it a go, I'll even record my first attempt so that people can see how bad I am
whoa.
at it.
All right.
It's a
I'm
promise.
down for that. I want to watch that. So and for people to know that when you do purchase it, you get 2 copies. So it's a pretty good deal if you think that you'd like to share it with someone like I did.
Hooray! I
Okay, so one more game thing. Have you seen the Tomb Raider game? The new one?
I have seen of it. I have not researched it yet.
Okay, like I have never been interested in a Tomb Raider game before, and I haven't played it, but I've been watching the Yogscast playthrough, and this game looks so pretty.
So
And
pretty.
it's like watching a movie, and
That's where games
I
are
don't
going.
I know I know I don't on one hand I'm like, oh, this, I don't know how I feel about this, and the other hand I'm like, this one kind of got it right. Like it doesn't have too many QuickTime
What system is it
things.
for? Is it PS3?
I believe it's for I think it's cross-platform.
Okay.
So PC, Xbox, PS3.
Well, I say if it looks interesting, you should play it.
Yeah, I think I might just.
Good.
Might just. So, and then wrapping up my nerding out is kind of a little bit of a small cross promotion for some things, but
Go for it.
I was asked by the Sci-Fi Diner podcast
Mm.
to head down to Baltimore and help them cover the Farpoint convention.
Yes.
Yeah, this was no, the
Here's my
Farpoint.
jealousy ramping up right now. Mm.
Now, the Farpoint convention used to be a Star Trek convention, but now it's just a sci-fi convention.
Hmm.
And they go down. I don't know how many years they've been going down, but they have a good relationship with the convention center or the convention people. And they interview the celebrity guests. So I had an opportunity to interview some of the celebrity guests, and I interviewed John Billingsley, who was on Star Trek Enterprise,
Very good.
Bonita Friederici, who was main character in Chuck,
Hmm.
Lee Ehrenberg, who is a main character in Once Upon a Time, and he was also one of the comic relief pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean, the first
Hmm.
3.
Hmm.
And I interviewed the voice of my childhood, Rob Paulson, who did voices for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Animaniacs. He was Pinky and Pinky and the Brain. Yeah, and I got to sit in and produce or record the interview they did with Giancarlo Esposito from Once Upon a Time, and what else is he? Revolution and Breaking Bad. So it was a really cool experience. So all of those things will eventually air on the Sci-Fi Diner podcast, which is immensely popular. And I don't know, they hold on to these interviews for like ever. But
Hmm.
because I was a part of it, they allowed me to have the audio. And the Langcast, my podcast, will be releasing the interviews in a 3-part series, the
Good.
ones that I was a part of. And that'll be next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Those will
So
come out.
we're gonna keep bumping to that so that people don't miss those because that's amazing. You're leaving out one very important detail.
Yes. Okay, so we didn't get to do an interview, but
Hmm.
I met Felicia Day.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
she's one,
I'm so happy
shorter
for you.
and skinnier than I thought she would be. And two, she fell incredibly in love with me, and we're going to be happy forever.
Oh, invite me to the wedding.
Don't worry, I will.
Ah, viewers, green is my color as I am filled with envy of
Yeah.
all those people. Ah,
Yeah,
I'm
she
so
was,
happy for you. So sad
thanks.
for me.
It's so funny because it's such an awkward photo because you know how normally when like
Yes, but
guys get photos with girls like they're doing like the hover hand or like it just doesn't look natural that they're touching them,
right.
you know. So I decided it was just like I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stand next to her. Well, then she puts her hand on me and it looks so like incredibly awkward. My friends are like, "Why aren't you like? Why isn't your arm around her? Her arm's around you." And I'm just like,
Just
"Keep your hands in your pants. Keep your hands in your pockets. Hands in your pockets."
I think you did very well to stand next to Felicia Day and get a photo taken.
Thank you.
Because, if you had said it, then everybody would have been like, well, pics ever didn't happen. But
That's
no, you're
true.
like, no photo evidence. And you're like, he met Felicia Day. Ah.
Well, that's what the people were saying earlier because I was texting my friends because we went into a room that was for staff and stuff, and she was just sitting in there, and like I was like having to walk around her chair,
Oh.
walk around her to do things, and I was like, I literally was like 2 inches away from Felicia Day just right now, and they were like, nah, pics. So
So our viewers have been nerding out as well. I sent out some tweets and I will continue to do so. So if you're not watching either 8-Bit Dame or DB Moulton on Twitter, we were talking today, we're probably going to start an Aficionerdo Twitter just to make it easier for you. You can just follow Aficionerdo and I can post the questions up on that one. And or you can always search for our hashtag on Twitter, which is hashtag Aficionerdo, the full thing. Anyway, I sent out some tweets about this show right now. And I said, hey, everybody, what have you been doing during our little February break? And I got some responses. And the first
oh
one,
really?
yes, I know. They're still out there. You're still out there. We love you. You're still out there. Um, let's see. Kristen has been nerding out on Star Wars Angry Birds, which I've heard very good things about. Very good things. So I'm assuming that this is the one where it's more like a gravity well sort of game.
I think that was well. I mean, that's more Angry Birds Space. I've played Angry Birds Star Wars.
Okay, so Star Wars is not the same as Angry Birds Space then.
No, Angry Birds Space is more like planets and black holes and stuff. But Angry Birds Star Wars is like all the birds are Star Wars characters and they have different abilities.
Well, now I kind of want to play that.
It's
Can you
I have to admit it's
switch
pretty
to their
cool.
Jedi birds?
There are Jedi birds. Yeah,
Awesome.
he plays. Yep.
Let's see. And Mark Cooper has sent us a song that we both watched before we started recording, and it's by Brad Paisley, and it's called Online. And it's country, which I wasn't expecting, and because I didn't know it was just a YouTube link. And then there it is, Brad play and he's singing, and it's all about a nerd who is much cooler online than he is in reality, but it is just packed with all sorts of nerd cameos. So a
Yes.
lot of Seinfeld cast is in there, a little bit of Brady Bunch, William Shatner's in there, and just tons and tons of references. And it's a very cute sort of video.
And William Shatner gets told that he can't sing, which I thought was very funny.
And he looked so upset about it too.
Yeah, yeah. The main thing that I got from it is that if you're a nerd like me
Hmm.
or anyone, all you have to do to get the girl you want
Hmm.
is stop staring at her and talk to her, and then she'll instantly be in love with you.
Yep.
That's basically what the
Isn't that the
music video
moral
took.
that they always say to anybody who has an introverted stereotype is that it would all be better if you were just extroverted, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it takes.
um, then let's see. We have from Quinn Baker. We have has been obsessing about the PS4. Which, by the way, Quinn, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh yes, you're right." And I went to the hashtag that you did hashtag PS4, which led me to all the other people tweeting about the PS4, which led me to because of you, Quinn, I ended up watching a 2-hour presentation over the PS4,
What?
and I enjoyed it actually, and unfortunately by the end of it, I was kind of like, I I want a PS4. You know, here's the cool thing about the PS4, real quick. And we'll probably talk about this later as the next generation console wars start getting warmed up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because what do we got? The Wii U, I guess, is the first one, the first entry into next gen right now. And then we have the PS4 coming up. What the PS4 is going to do, and this is not exclusive to the PS4, this is a common misunderstanding that's going around right now, but the PS4 is going to have a share button, which will instantly do what people do for LP on YouTube right now, which is
Yeah.
it will do a Twitch TV for you automatically. It will stream your video content and then open it up for other people to view live as you're
Yeah.
playing a game. And what they're also going to do is they're going to add in a remote function so that I'm guessing if the person owns the game, that they can actually join your game or help you and assist you in your game when you ask for help. So it's bringing in the instant friend factor. It's pushing it more and more to the cloud. There's going to be, you can tell very much that, oh, okay, I'm not going down this rabbit hole, I promise. But they are also pushing to digital content, and pretty soon the used game market is just going to go away because developers really don't want us purchasing secondhand games. They want us purchasing our rights from them directly so they can make more money. So
Yeah.
they're pushing for the downloads, they're pushing for the cloud, they're pushing for the unlock this code and then you can get this and that and that. But I want the PS4 for the internet experience. I think that that is a good direction to go because that's how I experience my games. I'm huge on social gaming. Big. There's,
Yeah.
so if you can imagine, David, that if we both had a PS4 and I was playing The Last of Us and I hit the share button and I pinged you and I said, I need you to see this part or you got to see this. And I didn't have to go through all the effort of pulling out fraps or XSplit or, making certain that I had my private setup that takes, as you now know, as you're getting into LP work,
Yeah.
how much time it takes and overhead it takes to understand how to encode or how to get it recorded or just how to get all your sound to go where it needs to go.
Right.
If they build that all up into the console package, now they've given me, maybe even as a niche consumer, but they have given me a reason to buy their equipment.
I haven't seen. Will there be like a microphone?
I'm sure that you can plug in a Bluetooth.
Oh yeah, that's true. Just the normal
Yeah.
mic system.
hmm
Yeah.
So thanks, Quinn.
Yeah. Look at what you've
I,
done.
I literally fell down a rabbit hole for at least 6 hours on your account reading up on the PS4. So now I'm with you. Um, and lastly, but not leastly, Ron was right there. He was right there. We said, "Hey, we're here," and Ron says, "I'm here too." And I said, "Good." And that's basically it. Well, and not quite like that. That was theatrical of me.
He also noted that he hates snow.
He hates snow because I
So,
had snow on our little announcement because it was snowy, and it's all been snowy.
for the record of the internet, Ron hates snow.
He didn't like the snow reminder. He would like spring to come.
Yeah,
There you go, internet.
there you go.
All right, we obviously had a lot to catch up on now, but we're going to move right on over to what is our main segment. And this might end up being actually shorter than all our nerding out, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So we decided some time ago that we were going to discuss nerds in the spotlight or the phenomenon of Hollywood and nerd stereotypes coming to the fore. And there's a lot of stuff out there right now that is about the nerd stereotype.
Yeah, I think that it reached a sense of popularity with the nerds and the not nerds
Mhm.
that I wasn't expecting, and now they're just like cashing in on it.
Well, I think what's happening is that, uh, well, maybe there's just more blending. And so many people who would have thought that things weren't cool due to exposure are realizing that they enjoy the same things that used to be not so mainstream.
I don't know how I feel about that because part of me is like Fraiser and a bit stuck up and a bit hipster, and I'm like, these are my things.
Yeah, yeah. There's not enough people on this bus. you know,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, like, stop, get out of my pool. You guys were happy over there with your football, and I don't know. Football
Yeah.
is the first thing that came to mind, but and that's also a stereotype. Like, who are supposed to be the opposite of the nerds, but the jocks, right?
Right. Yeah.
But but no, I know what's happening is the internet is happening. So the more things that get spread around and the more people come together, people are realizing that these
Yeah.
things are fun.
Yeah.
And so the nerd genre is sort of
I
blossoming,
you know
and people are saying, "Oh, I'm a nerd too. Oh, I guess that means that I'm a nerd and I'm a geek." And, we're losing our identity a little bit, I think. But
so all right, so let's take a look at this, and we have some questions here to kind of guide us along. And let's start with reality TV, nerd reality TV, and
mhm.
when do you think reality TV as a whole, and then or what do you think of it? I'm sorry, what do you think of reality TV as a whole, and the subset of it, that is nerd reality TV?
There was a period of my life that I did enjoy watching reality TV for what it was. Not actually thinking it was reality, but interested in what it was doing. But that was when it was first coming out. So, Survivor, the first seasons of Survivor, maybe up to season 4 or 5.
Okay,
Or The Amazing Race is interesting to me because of all the traveling and the culture shock and things like that. So, from the aspect of these were not paid actors, these are people that put themselves on television and then are sort of like the same train wreck mentality of certain Japanese game shows where people are willing to do really silly things in order to be on TV. That interested me in sort of the same way you just can't look away. You're like, what's going on? I don't understand. Why is this person eating a worm? What's happening there? But then I think as reality TV has gone on, yes, I am very over reality TV because it is the same thing over and over. We're not seeing new stories here. We're seeing the same stories over and over and over again, but they try to pre-package them and they pull new real people over to play the parts of people that they've previously casted.
right, right,
It's done. It's played. It's kind of like we're being shown the same thing over and over again and in hopes that we're not catching on. And unfortunately, most people aren't catching on.
right. Well,
So,
I mean, it is. You basically just said it. It is entertaining to the point where you sit down, and it just sucks you in. Um, and you will watch a whole episode and kind of not realize you just watched a whole episode.
mhm.
Like but at the same time, for me at least, I don't ever feel like I need to come back. I know a lot of people feel like they need to come back to the reality TV. And the only quote unquote reality ish TV that's really over time kept me coming back has been like Mythbusters or Dirty Jobs. Like
Okay,
those
but
kind of things.
those don't fall into, well, maybe, I mean, I can debate this. I could see what you're saying, but those do not fall into what I think of what reality TV is.
Right. Well, I think you're right there, but I think that they're made to seem like reality TV.
Yes,
And
possibly.
that's why I kind of included it there. That's kind of
So there is something I want to cover real quick with everybody is when I was researching this topic and going out and trying to figure out what we could talk about. I did come across some interesting articles which I'm going to link below or make available in our information. Which, by the way, everybody should know that if you click on our information box, you will receive a small essay on things to go look at. Anyway, but the way reality TV works is it is scripted. There are people who are paid called reality TV writers, and um, not scripted in the way that maybe you can speak to this, but not scripted in the way that people are fed lines necessarily and told what to do, but scripted in the after process because it is the job of a reality TV writer to present to you a story arc with a conflict, a rising sort of tension, um, a peak, and then a resolution. And every show and every episode needs to follow a narrative in order to keep people's interest. Because if it didn't, we would be watching home videos,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
absolutely,
hmm?
absolutely.
Right. So in the case of reality TV, the way that this works is what we think of as reality, what we experience, or what we like. If I say home video to you, you instantly get a different kind of result in your head. You get what is truly unedited. You get something much closer to reality than reality TV. So what they'll do is, especially shows that can't record 24/7, so not Big Brother, almost everything else, they'll miss things. The camera people won't be there, but they still need to fill those gaps. So what you may be seeing on TV edited, if especially if you pay attention, and I did pay attention with what was the one we King of the Nerds? I
Uh-huh.
did, and they do this. Um, they will show you one scene without really showing you what the dialogue is in that scene. Instead, what you have is somebody's comment or diary room moment of them talking about something, and they'll put the two of them together, and they'll trick you into believing that you are watching a real-time context of something. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. A lot of times the diary room is used to fill in the missing gaps of was what failed to make it to camera.
Yeah.
It's gonna join it together like glue. That's why there's so many diary room confessions.
Yeah, especially with a King of the Nerds, if you like are really paying attention, their outfits change
Hmm.
all the time, and that's like a huge thing to let you know that things are not happening in the same order that they want them to appear.
Hmm.
Or like they showed them celebrating and they were like kind of dancing around, and then they showed it from like another angle, but almost everyone was wearing something different, and then it went back to the other angle, and I was like, those two celebration scenes did not happen
At the same
at the
time.
same time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to ask yourself, well, that's is that reality at that point? What are they showing us exactly? Well, they're showing us a story that they want us to be told.
Right.
So, and so what they'll do is they'll also piece together similar things. So like they know that an argument happened between two people, but what they'll really do is they'll wait for another similar type of argument that causes similar facial expressions and emotions to come up, and they will modify it so that it fits the hole that maybe they missed, or if they need more. I do know that, reading up on things like Big Brother, because, this somewhat interests me, reading up on things on Big Brother, that the producers will ask leading questions in order to get them to say something, or they might even to the point say, we need you to state firm statements. Things
Hmm.
that people don't normally talk like that. So all those TV villains, all those people saying things that you can't believe that they would ever say on national television, they are being edited. No, quite literally, they are being edited to be that way.
Yeah.
Either they're being trained to say it that way, even though they are the ones saying it. But so, like, if you and I came around and I'm just rambling to you, which I am, and then you as a producer said to me, all right, can you take the last 3 paragraphs of what you said and bring it down to a sentence? I would say
Yeah.
to you, reality TV sucks.
Right. Right. Now, okay, so I have a small amount of experience,
Hmm.
very small, in this manner from being on a reality TV show by accident. Um, but the way
I
that
fell into a reality TV show.
it's like Alice in Wonderland. Uh, yeah, basically. And I think we've covered it before. But anyway, I was on the show Geek Love,
Hmm.
and they the way that they would do it is that they would structure their questions so that you couldn't answer their question intelligently without almost re-saying what they were saying, which could be taken as you agreeing or not saying. Like they would ask me questions about Anna that involved like the word love in a way that like in order to answer it, I had to be very creative and not to say like refer to her with the word love. You know what I mean?
If you gave them, did you feel like if you didn't give them an answer that they were searching for, that they would try to get it again?
They did at times.
Hmm.
They would re-ask the question or say it again, and I would try to explain. So, for me in that situation, kind of not expecting to be thrown in there, and kind of knowing that I didn't know where I was going to show up, and or I knew it was for TLC at the time, but uh, I didn't want to come off in any weird ways, and I was like, well, my friends will see this, and I don't want it to look like, either I hate this girl or I love this girl. You know what I mean? Like it just was a fun experience. So I tried to think very hard and very almost responded in a more monotone way if I could to certain questions so that they didn't come off with too much inflection in any direction, because I knew that they could play it in either way.
And they didn't use much of your stuff.
They didn't. They didn't.
Because you didn't give them what they needed.
Exactly. But they did use a lot of my reactions to
Well,
from others'
you had some
questions.
weird things happen.
Yeah, yeah, and those things were made more weird by one, the editing,
Mm-hmm.
and two, a lot of times that they weren't as weird of a question, but they made us repeat the question and re-answer it because the cameras weren't set up in the angles they wanted and stuff. And when you take a semi-awkward question like, "Would you like to call my daughter again?" from the mother right in front of the daughter, and my quick answer, which was honestly, I don't think I was very polite the first time, but it was something that could just be brushed over and like walk past. But then when they say, no, wait a second, wait, and then you stand there and they're like, don't talk anymore for 2 minutes, don't say anything till we set up, and then they're like, ask the question again, and now that person has to stage their awkward question over again, but it's not natural anymore. So then the
Right.
response isn't natural anymore.
Which made it
But
even more awkward.
yeah,
Yes.
makes the facial expressions more awkward because not all, you're not surprised as much as you are just like, oh,
So
yeah.
how much was it suggested, do you think, or how much do you think the crew or the television show itself had influence-wise of her having her mother there in the first place?
Um, I think when they found out that she was coming, because she was going to go to the convention anyway
Mm-hmm.
that day,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, I would have to check with Anna, but I'm pretty sure that they kind of pushed for her to come along. Like, it was one of those things where if she hadn't found somebody, they were going to record with her mother, like record one of those, her and her mother talking at the convention the next day or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
because she wound up going out with me the next day, they took advantage of that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
agreement. And so one of the things that they did was make me appear late for to make her look nervous, like I was standing her up. So I was early. I got there before Anna and her mother did, and actually before the TV crew got to where we were supposed to be recording. And they got there and they were like, "Well, they weren't really telling me everything." And I was just like, "Whatever. They kind of have a plan. I don't really care." And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Why don't we take you to get some coffee?" And so they took me like to another part of the building, and then we were walking back, and they were like, "You know what? Let's just wait here, and then we'll have you walk up to Anna and her mom, and like we'll capture you walking up." And like they mic'd me up, and they had me sitting and waiting, and then they let Anna and her mom stand there for a while, and they didn't tell them that I was already there, and they made it appear like I was standing her up or whatever, and then had me approach from a very awkward angle so they could capture both my approach and my startling of being like, "Oh, hello," that kind of thing. And at that point, they hadn't told me that her mother was going to be there.
So how much reality TV is actually reality now? I mean, like that, no, that is perfect. That is a perfect example from, I'm so glad that you've actually been on a reality TV show, that you can tell us for certain that this was your experience with just one show, which was canceled because I guess people couldn't relate,
Well, it's
but
been picked up, so but just
yes.
by another channel.
Yes. Okay.
So,
Fair enough. But I think what you just underlined in that small exchange, you've underlined what is so not realistic about reality TV.
yeah,
It's staged, it's scripted, it's false.
yeah.
So, but it was also, you said you had fun doing it and it was an experience that you enjoyed having.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that a lot of the stuff they were capturing was genuine fun and excitement. I I met a a pretty girl and I got to go on a date with her, and that's cool, and I was enjoying that aspect of it. So the rest was just kind of like small things. I didn't really think much of it until later.
So
So,
your real experiences versus what was shown on the show, how much distortion, like if you could give a percentage of distortion between reality and reality TV, what percentage would you assign that?
well, for the show that I was on, I would
Mm-hmm.
say like 25 to 30% distortion.
Hmm.
Because the stuff between Anna and I was pretty much left to its own device. But anytime that her mom was interacting with us,
Mm-hmm.
like that part was distorted.
When they were trying to catch the juicy bits, the
Yeah,
awkward bits, the parts that the train wreck, the parts
yeah,
that people watch reality TV for, they were looking for the other shoe, so to speak.
yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right. So, so we've been watching King of the Nerds. Now, I've seen 3 shows,
Okay, I
and
watched the premiere.
we have been collecting on our DVR. I think we might have even 6 shows waiting, or maybe even 7.
Oh wow.
And so it's going much longer than I thought it would. But I'm not rushing back to my TV to watch another episode.
Right.
Um, Ironically, we watched the second episode because my sister wanted to watch it because my sister is very much into the cosplay community.
Oh, cool.
And apparently King of the Nerds brought on, well, is it George Takei or
Decay.
Decay? See, I do this one wrong as well. I have problems with George Decay and I have problems with Neil Gaiman, and I last names, they elude me. Um and so he was a special guest on it for a cosplay show.
Oh,
And also, there was a really, really well known in the culture community cosplayer who was a guest judge on that particular episode. So we ended up watching that episode. And I think we watched the third one because my husband was like, well, we need something to watch on TV. What can we watch? And at the time, we just didn't have anything handy because we were all out of Big Bang. And so I'm like, okay, well, I think we watched what we wanted to watch, and then we were searching for something else because we weren't ready to get off the couch yet, and
right.
so we just put on King of the Nerds. And I remember watching it and going, "This is truly, truly a horrendous show."
I'm so glad you said that.
It is. So King of the Nerds is possibly the shining example of where this is going wrong.
Yeah.
Um, so the first episode, they they had them pick teams, but they did them in a schoolyard pick 'em, and then they tried to make it seem clever to turn it around and say the one that you didn't pick is the Drew Trill rejected nerd, and now she has all the power, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
I know they went for a cross section of stereotypes and they hit them, or they tried to hit them.
I think Penny Arcade had a really good comic about this. I don't remember. Maybe we can look it up later and put it in. But they were saying something about like most reality TVs and all of our life, I lost for being this way, and now this is a show, and I don't like that it's reality TV, but you win it by being like me. And they were just saying it's kind of like a weird thing to comprehend. So they weren't sure if they liked it. They were like, you know what, I kind of like it because these people seem genuinely like real nerds instead of people just who are semi kind of nerdy.
Hmm.
And but you have to really be nerdy to win. I did get that feeling from the first episode, but
Hmm.
the way it was done up was just so wrong. I mean, they were obviously spent more time on the pretty nerds.
Hmm.
For one, some of those girls are quite attractive,
Hmm.
and then they wanted to make you feel sorry or dislike the non-pretty nerds. Like there was a rocker guy
Hmm.
that they wanted you to kind of be like trepidatious about, and then the
The hacker.
lesson, yeah,
There's one person on this show that is a hacker by his own words. I'm just using what the show presented, and he is socially awkward. Like you
yeah,
can tell that he is one of these people who doesn't know how to interface with social groups. He struggles. He honestly, you could tell that he honestly struggles with interfacing with social groups. So he's turning into a villain on this show because his priorities are different than a normal person's priorities.
Right.
He just comes at it from a different angle, and the things that he says are awkward, and they're not emotionally sensitive. They're
Yeah.
not. He's coming from a different emotional center. So when he's playing a game, I think there was one where he went into the Radio Shack room and he took out all the computer stuff so that the other computer programmer couldn't use it for the contest. And of course, they showed this huge backlash from both teams about how this one player decided to do something from a strategic point of view, purely in his mind.
Right.
And then that was bad. That was a villainous thing to do,
Right.
um, because he wasn't playing fair, quote unquote. So, but I ask you, what is fair on reality television? Because what do you want to bet? That he had the idea in the diary room and the producer was like, well, why don't you?
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. Uh, the point where the show really lost me, like I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of okay, not really enjoying it, but not really hating it,
Mm-hmm.
was at the end of the first episode, they had a giant chess match.
Yes.
And this is the part that killed it for me because at that point I was like, okay, this is kind of still kind of really aimed at nerd entertainment.
Uh-huh.
Well, then they had these two helpers come out that were so
Mm-hmm.
not nerdy. They were obviously there to keep people who weren't neat nerds interested. They had a
Mm-hmm.
guy come out dressed like a Spartan,
And then
no shirt.
then they had the sex symbol. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had basically a girl come out like an anime character, but all
And she comes
sexed out.
out. She's there almost every episode now.
Real,
Yeah, no, she's like the cheerleader. She's the eye candy for the nerd off.
yeah. And I was like, they spent so much time showing those two people. I was like, this is the part where they're trying to keep the not nerdy audience interested in what's happening
Hmm.
because they were playing chess, which is pretty nerdy. And I thought the chess part was interesting, but I couldn't handle the constant cutaways to these two people. I'm like, I will admit that she isn't a very, she's a very attractive woman, but the fact that they play her up to be attractive makes her unattractive to me.
Hmm.
Like, I can't, I don't want to see her anymore. And I didn't want to see the other guy because I don't like guys. So why would I want to look at him?
Hmm.
So he wasn't like cool looking or anything. He just was basically a guy with muscles breaking things.
So, like,
So
the real question I have sometimes with these shows is, what conclusion are they reaching for? They're putting these people through a basic stereotype of nerd reality TV, which is people get voted off. One way or another, there's a system of exclusion that eventually somebody ends up with the short stick and they have to go. I mean, it doesn't matter how you get there. If you have teams, if you have alliances, if you have a point system, whatever the reason, somebody ends up losing and has to leave. And there's supposed to be drama, and there's supposed to be backstabbing, there's supposed to be conflict, which by the end of the third episode, they have achieved this awkwardness on a team because the way that King of the Nerds handles this is that the two teams oppose each other. One team loses. The team that loses will have two of its members for now have to face off in the losing have to go home match. And
right,
one person is picked by their own team and the other person is picked by the opposing team. So that no matter what, there's going to be somebody who, if they come back to their team, gets to glare at their team members and says, oh, you didn't want me on the team, but I beat that other person anyway, so I'm back.
yeah,
They want that.
yeah,
They want that conflict. Whether, so that's how they're handling their reality TV ness.
right.
But what conclusion are they really trying to reach here? Like,
I know the answer.
what's the answer?
Money.
Well, yes.
They don't care about
They
anything
don't,
else.
yeah, they don't really care. Okay. So the ultimate reward of this particular TV show, other than the money reward and the money that the show will make, is that they're supposed to be allowed to sit on the geek throne.
Which I hated because it was like, oh, this is the Geek Throne, and it was so obviously a Game of Thrones thing.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, why? It was called isn't it called the Throne of Games? or something like that. Why does it have to be a game thing? I mean, these nerdy people who were there were all like scientists and
Some of
everything. Like,
them were. Some of them were.
yeah,
And they tried they went across cult, they got the gamers, they got the programmers, they got the scientists,
is
you
that
know.
reward just seems so game related?
It feels very shallow. It feels very
Yeah,
shallow. But they need something. They need something that they're supposed to be the winner or achiever of.
right.
So they have this ugly egg seat that they've remade, they've cosmetically done over, and it's this strange space age Game of Thrones sort of.
Doesn't it have like guns coming out of the back of it or
I
something?
don't know. I didn't look at it too closely. All
I
I can
can't.
tell is that I wouldn't want to sit in the chair like that. To me, it's a very empty feeling in the end.
Yeah,
So let's talk about that's the bad. That's the bad. Like all these nerd stereotypes are really coming out, and we're losing what it means to be a geek and a nerd anyway. The show is desperately trying to remind us what we're supposed to think a geek and a nerd is. Um,
yeah,
and I have to say, on the whole, they're probably achieving it. They're probably doing what they want to achieve to the masses, and the fact that they're not canceled yet tells me that enough people are watching it that they're making money.
yeah,
So somebody out there likes the show. Um,
yeah. I think the positive side is it is also reminding us how the lines are blurring to the point that we need that reminder.
well, it is appealing, I guess, to a massive audience. Like people aren't turning it off.
Yeah,
So that means that there's enough relation there that maybe either people are identifying with the show. I have to think that more people are trying to identify with the show than they are trying to point and laugh at it.
right,
Um,
right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think
I
the
think
show
you're right.
is trying to appeal to the probably the insecurity that most people have about wanting to feel accepted or wondering if they are awkward enough. And so maybe people really do want this show to be about the underdogs or the society's unwanted. I don't know, but it ends up being a very strange cross section of what I feel reality is, because the people on that show, I could see them at conventions, but they would be so much happier.
Yeah,
These types of people combined with reality TV stereotypes and archetypes does not equal nerd. It equals something else.
yeah. And
Anyway.
you see that come out in some of them. They become not the nerd that you'd think that they would be
Hmm.
because they're in a competition
Hmm. Yep.
and they're on TV. So it's
Yep.
very different.
So I do like sitcom, for example, better because it is completely scripted. Scripted. It is
Uh-huh.
all fiction, all scripted. They can get the rising story, conflict, narration, end of story all in one. So that's why I like things like Big Bang as opposed to King of the Nerds.
Yeah. And but it happens in sitcoms because you're right here. In my opinion of Big Bang is low because I feel like it exploits nerd culture. And
Yes.
that's why I'm more drawn to Fraiser, but I bet, you know,
Is it
but
possible that it feels that way because people come up to you and say, "Oh, this is you. Oh, you
yes.
would love this. This is you."
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, Sheldon reminds me so much of you," or I'll say stuff and they're like, "Oh, that sounds like something Sheldon would say."
Oh man, you know what? My husband has the same problem. He
Really?
says, yes, he says, I can't believe that people said that I was like Sheldon. I'm nothing like Sheldon. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, what they're trying to say is that they think that you're smart, and they probably are trying to say that you also are sometimes socially awkward.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know.
well,
I
this is to
do.
my husband, not to you.
Yeah.
That was the reply that I gave my husband because, Sheldon is extremely smart, but he's also, he has several social problems.
Did you just say I wasn't smart, Elaine?
Yes, I'm insulting you.
Oh
I'm
my
insulting you right now. No,
god.
but I like Big Bang because I don't know I do enjoy some of the jokes, and as it goes on, I would say my favorite season of Big Bang was the third season. And now that we're over the third season, the fourth and the fifth seasons I haven't enjoyed as much as the third season, which made me laugh a lot. So,
Right. Well, there are some good things out of Big Bang, and I think it's that. I mean, it is also helping to fade that line, which is something I hate and love. Like I'll see like punk kids wearing, kids that aren't nerdy that are very much either hick or very hip hop or something, and they'll be wearing like Big Bang stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but whatever. But one of the things that I, as a male nerd, that I appreciate is that they show that geek nerds can be pretty, like the girls can be pretty, and that like just because you're a geek guy, you're not going to wind up with some you know weird looking girl or something like that.
or you might, and it would still
Or
be
you-
okay. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I'm not just from like personality wise too. Like I mean, I think that they're doing a good job at that aspect because
Oh,
a lot of time,
that they're
a lot of
matching
time,
people up and saying, like these people can be attracted to these people, these types of people, you
right,
know?
and which is something that I see in real life. But then there were shows like Beauty and the Geek where the guys were all like extremely nerdy and kind of average, and then the beauty girls were just like way out there, and they were like, oh, these two groups would never love each other. Oh, that's why we're having a reality show about it. Like, what could they possibly have in common? And I'm like, yeah, that's not like people are people. They're gonna like who they like.
Hmm.
So
It's true.
anyway,
Yeah, we lose that context a lot. When we reach for stereotypes, we do lose reality. That's that's true. So why do you, I mean, you like the Guild, right?
I love the Guild.
So how do you feel that Felicia Day is doing it right where Big Bang is doing it wrong?
It feels more genuine coming from her, and it feels more. It's more like you come to it from a stand that it's more relatable. Like her, when she has the stereotypes of like the way people act, she takes them to the extremes that that they're a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Big Bang tries to,
Satire, more satire.
yeah. Big Bang
But
seems like it's trying to base in reality a
so
little bit.
you don't feel like Big Bang is enough satire?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Because when I watch Big Bang, that's all I see is satire.
Really,
Hmm.
I look at it and I see them. Well, I still see the satire, but I see them mocking us more than anything else. Like I feel like I'm the blunt of the joke
Hmm.
than
I
I
can see
am a
that too.
part
I
of it.
can see that they're reaching for that. That they're poking fun a little. They're poking a bit hard on the
Yeah,
fun a little bit on Big
yeah.
Bang. But I
I mean,
also know that that's not really. It is satire. Like Sheldon, complete satire. You know, um, Leonard is supposed to be probably the most normal guy in this group of s- extreme extreme lens characters.
extreme.
Right.
Sorry.
So you get the guy who can't absolutely, unless he's drunk, cannot talk to females. You know,
Yeah.
you get uh, the other guy who is, well, he got married first, which I thought was interesting for this show. But there, Howard, who was so desperate for women that he constantly pursued them in a creepy way. You know,
Right.
but he, like, and then the show turns around and now they're all pairing up, and Howard was actually the first one to get married, and uh, I don't know what they're going, but for the most part they do end up having some pretty great run-on jokes, and it, to me, it is satire. It is. But the Guild, maybe because it's shorter, maybe because it's more narrow focus, maybe because they don't have everybody a doctor, maybe they just feel like normal people,
Yeah.
you know. um I would agree that the Guild does a better job at not offending.
Right. Yeah.
Basically, is that we can all, where Big Bang feels like it's poking fun at the people that it's making fun of. The Guild feels very much like it's those people poking fun at themselves a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And the people in the guild, like you relate to them, but they don't feel like they could really exist.
Right? No, it does feel completely like this would never ever happen.
Yeah.
Like. So, by the way, if somehow you're listening to us and you haven't watched The Guild, what?
Oh, please do.
What?
It might be over, which is sad, but Let's watch it.
Oh, but
Did you
there's
watch the last season?
yes, there's 6 seasons. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but there's 6 seasons for which would amount to about uh maybe less than an hour per season, maybe 40 minutes per season.
yeah,
So, I
for
mean,
sure.
you could watch all of the Guild in a day easily if you really wanted to.
That's
All
so
of it.
good, so good.
So, I guess we should wrap up and say, as we step away, one thing that the Guild has that the Big Bang doesn't have is the Guild is released on the web, which allows Felicia Day to, and whoever's working with her, I'm sure there's names that I'm leaving off that deserve credit for the Guild at this point. But
Yeah,
it allows these creators to do what they envision as opposed to what CBS, NBC, these major networks need to envision for reality TV. And because they have that freedom that they're going to probably produce something a little bit more palatable, I think.
hmm
As soon as you get on national television, especially with reality TV, it's going to get a little like, ugh. The milk is turning a little sour there, I guess.
right.
Uh,
But
then,
you can get communities and stuff. So like
right, that's,
you've
yeah.
got the Geek and Sundry community, which is the channel Felicia Day has made
Hmm.
on YouTube with a bunch of shows, including the Guild, that are like this. And we talk about them a lot.
Geek
So
and
like,
Sundry has been a humongous hit. I'm so glad that she's done it, and I watch almost all the shows on Geek and Sundry. So, my
yeah,
favorites have been The Guild, which was before Geek and Sundry, and then there has been Space Janitors, which is hilarious,
yeah, I've been enjoying
hilarious.
that too.
And then I love Tabletop with Will Wheaton.
hmm
Love Tabletop with Will. So those are my top three shows on
There
there.
are some shows on there I don't like, but even those I'm like, I understand how they appeal to other people.
Right.
It's like TV, like you're not gonna like everything.
Right,
So
no, and that's I also like that they're a wide variety enough that they are covering it. They're doing what they want to do, and I hope that Geek and Sundry, as a money making producing entity, has a long lifespan because I
yeah,
love the stuff that it's like my personal. If Geek and Sundry were a cable network, it's my favorite one.
right.
Because
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
gotcha.
mean. That's essentially what it is. It's a network. It's a cable network. It's providing the same function as a cable network would, except for it's only online, and it's pulling all these different things in and saying, hey, if you like this, you might like this. You might like this. It's perfect. I love it.
And I think that's what YouTube is going for with it because they have some other channels like that.
Hmm.
Um, and not very many of them. There's only one other that's appealed to me, and that's IGN's Start channel,
Hmm.
which hosts Geek Love, and they've done some other things, but it hosts Geek Love and Up at Noon, which I really like.
Mm.
And they have another one that's I can't remember what it's called, but Cheap Cool Crazy. So those like three shows I really enjoy watching.
There's some other strong communities that we should mention real quick, namely the Nerdfighter community, which has
Yes.
started out between two people, that would be Hank Green and John Green, as they just blogged back and forth for a year, and it gained a very strong following, and then they made a forum, and then they just kept going, and they just and going and going and going. Now it's exploded, and these two men are just doing what they're living their dream essentially. One's a very well, I guess, would you call him a very famous author at this point when you have bestsellers
Yeah.
on the New York?
Yeah, he's pretty famous
Right.
at this
He's
point.
like, so uh John Green is a young adult fiction novelist, but he writes young adult fiction first intelligently. Like he's not dumbing his work down for the teenagers. So he's not writing things like Twilight. Like
Yeah,
he's writing books about cancer. And then it's for young adults. And I'm like, good. And that's why I think part of the reason that he's so popular is that he's intelligently writing books for an intelligent audience. He's not pointing at teenagers and saying, you're not ready for this. He's deep concepts in his books
yeah,
about life and love and learning and identity and doubt and all these wonderful things. Um, and then Hank Green is an ecologist and also everything web and nerd. and wonderful and a singer and just, I don't know how you describe Hank Green. It's like you
Yeah.
can't really apply one label to him.
One of the minds behind the Lizzie Bennett Diaries. So
Yes, he is a producer, is he not?
yeah, I think he was a writer too. I don't
And
know if
and then
you're
they
wrong.
decided that they didn't like that there was not an independent label for people and their geeky songs, so they went and made a record label. And then they decided that there wasn't a good enough convention for people who made videos, so they went and made VidCon. And these things are just exploding. So
Yeah,
the nerd fighter community, if you just type in nerd fighter, it would take you to a hub of some sort. I am more than certain. Um,
yeah,
and also, they have education YouTube channels now. So they have the SciShow, which is one, and I know that they do another one, which is escaping me right now. It's basically John Green's version with history.
yeah. I can't remember what that's called either, off the top of my head.
Oh no, I'm sorry, John
It's
Green.
SciShow and well, whatever. It's there and it's awesome.
It is awesome. And then once you get into these two shows, you would unlock just a plethora of awesome things happening on YouTube, like CP Grey.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of positive nerd force out there that is real, that feels real and is closer to what I picture geek culture and nerd culture to be, as opposed to the
I
things
agree.
that we see on King of the Nerds. So it's a mixture, but it's very strong. Like we are forging forward. All this stuff will have information down below. If you haven't heard of anything, especially Nerd Fighters or Geek and Sundry, go 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 go. Join us.
Yeah.
It is good stuff, especially. Okay.
Well, Elaine, we've been going for quite some time now, so I think it's probably time to wrap up.
Yes,
But
it is.
let's quickly cover our picks for this week
That's right.
that
We
we
do
did.
this. I know we talk about so much in all our shows, and then it seems pretty incredible that we get to the end of them and we're like, but wait, there's two more things.
Yeah.
But I like this part because if you get to this far, the reason that these things get weekly picks is because, well, we really do feel like maybe people should know about them,
Yeah.
or
And we try, I mean, I don't think we try, but we tend to pick things that the other person doesn't know too much about. So it's almost for each other as much as it is for the audience.
it's
So,
true. So what's yours?
well, going along with what seems to be my trend, I picked another webcomic called Wonderella,
Okay.
or the non-adventures of Wonderella. And I love this comic. Um, it's drawn very simply, but the stories are funny, and Wonderella is basically like a Superman, um, Wonder Woman mix, but she's very sarcastic and very cocky. And then she has I forget what her name is, but she has like a sidekick who's very stupid, um, and it's just really funny. They sometimes tackle weird things. Like she had a time machine and she got trapped in a time vortex, and she had to call the time machine help, and they were like, well, we'll be there in a couple hours, and she's like, you're time machine workers, you should just be able to be here.
Yeah. That's the first thing I thought. Like, wait, come on. Time.
Yeah, they're like, it's a busy day, we'll get there when we get there, and they're acting like a plumber or something, and she's like, I'm getting hop-ons, and like all these famous people were popping up on her spaceship, and she was complaining about it. So, you know, it's really funny, or it's written by a guy, which is humorous to me because it seems like it would be need to be written by a girl sometimes.
Hmm.
And she had this one thing where she was like, a comic where she's baking some cookies, and then she gets attacked by this monster and sucked into a portal, and then she has to escape the portal, and she rides a flying uh, giraffe back through the portal and back to her home, and she makes it home. And like at the end of the comic, she's told the whole story to her sidekick, and her sidekick's like, wait a minute, what? That's unrealistic. And she's like, you baked. And that's the punchline, was that she baked at the very beginning. Like that was the unrealistic part of the whole story she told. So anyway,
So, looking at the archives here, it looks like there would be plenty of content here for people to enjoy.
absolutely.
Several years worth of that. And looking at the style, the first thing that it makes me think of is just paper cutout
Yeah.
art. Very cool,
Yeah.
though. I really like it. I like that style. My pick of the week is a game called Sequence. It's a very cheap game. You can find it on Steam. It's an indie game, and it combines an RPG with uh, a music sequence rhythm game and multitasking.
Huh.
Now, this won't be a game for everybody, but one thing I did like about this game, other than the music, which there isn't enough music in this game, if I could change anything, I would increase their music sample. I would have them add more songs of the same sort to the game in order so that when you're battling, you're not always battling to the same song over and over and over again. So it doesn't have a wide enough music library in it. Other than that, I enjoy the story. I've enjoyed the art, and for $5, which is what it's at right now, you can actually get it for cheaper or maybe even free during a Steam sale. If you notice that it's in a indie box, you know, this game is fun for me, especially because it is a rhythm game, so you can really get into it. You can jam with it. But the challenge is also keeping in your peripheral vision all your different goals and what have you. And the voice acting or the story is tongue in cheek, very tongue in cheek. So they're like, yes, we know that we've put an RPG system on top of this sequence game, and now we're going to make fun of ourselves. And it has made me smile every time I get to another cutscene, even though it's not fancy. It has made me smile with the humor. The bosses are funny. They are characters. They're just making fun of the whole thing. And, I'm going to look forward to beating this game. It is challenging. You have to be able to keep track of several different things. And if you get it wrong, you're going to lose the battle. So you have to both time the rhythm, but you have to pay attention to which field that you're playing in so that you're either defending against the attacks of the monster or you are casting a spell against the monster to damage them and or heal yourself, or you're regaining your mana in the third panel. And you have to decide which is more important to do at that time. And you have to think about that simultaneously while doing a rhythm game, which is surprisingly exercisery of the brain.
Wow.
It is wonderful for me. I love it because I can just fall into this game and be like, you achieve a different sort of awareness of what you're doing. And I feel the same way when I play like games like Guitar Hero sometimes. If I can just stop thinking for a moment and start reacting, I feel like it exercises, a whole different part of the brain, which is totally enjoyable. Anyway, if anybody likes rhythm games, or you feel like you're good at a rhythm game, and you like RPG systems where you have to achieve levels and you have to kind of figure it out, and, there's some grinding in there. There is repeat battles in there. They don't get past that. You have to achieve a certain level of experience. But beyond that, it is a lot of fun. So that is my pick. I suggest you go check it out. It's available via Steam, as I said. And I'm only on level 3. I'm about to get to level 4, and there are 9 levels.
Wow.
So, and I've been playing it all month. Jamming out. Has a Ronald Jinkies in it, and I guess I'll talk about him another time if you don't know the name. So that's it.
Wow.
We don't have our next week topic yet, but I'm sure we'll think of something. You all need to watch for Twitter, and we will tell you when we decide, and we'll just take it from there. But we should wrap it up.
Sounds good. So once again, for the Aficionerdo podcast, I've been David Moulton.
And I'm Elaine Eightbytes.
We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.